The sunlight spilled through the tall gym windows in pale golden sheets, gliding across the polished wooden floor and landing on a man who looked almost invisible in the busy space. Ardan Vale, a quiet single father working as a janitor, moved with deliberate patience as he swept dust into a metal tray. He kept his head down, shoulders slightly bent, as if the weight of life pressed harder on him than any broom ever could. But everything changed the moment 5 black belt martial artists, loud, confident, and craving entertainment, gathered around him and asked him to spar for fun. They had no idea the man they mocked was once known by another name, a name spoken only in special operations circles, a name that had disappeared from every official file. They called him the Iron Ghost. Before the story continues, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the strength hidden in ordinary people, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel Kindness Corner. Your support helps us bring more life-changing stories to the world. Ardan kept his face calm as the 5 martial artists Marek, Silvio, Ronan, Taro, and Jakesa formed an amused circle around him. They were legendary in the gym, undefeated competitors, men who lived for showing off. They had been watching him quietly for weeks, whispering among themselves about how strange it was that he moved so quietly, almost too quietly. Today, in the warm daylight streaming through the skylights, the curiosity evolved into arrogance. "Come on, old man," Marek said loudly, stretching his gloved hands. "Just a quick spar, for fun." The others laughed, but Ardan didn't. Inside, something tightened at old memories he had buried deep beneath exhaustion, fatherhood, and the desire for a peaceful life. He politely shook his head, but they kept teasing, kept pushing, until Jax tapped his broom and the room fell quiet. "Unless you're scared," he said. That word, scarred by years of war, hit him differently than they intended. Ardan gently placed the broom against the wall. He never wanted trouble. His whole goal was to give his little daughter, Nelly, stability after losing their mother. But disrespect, intimidation, and unnecessary force were things he'd seen consume far too many young men. He took off his work jacket, revealing a lean, scarred frame that looked nothing like a typical janitor. The room went silent. Sunlight illuminated a faint old military tattoo on his arm, but they didn't recognize it. No one did anymore. That was by design. He stepped onto the mat with slow, controlled breathing. The 5 black belts circled him, laughing, confident. Ardan's expression didn't change, but his senses sharpened. For the first time in years, he felt the ghost of his former life pushing through the surface. They rushed him one by one at first, testing his reaction. Ardan moved gently, stepping aside with a grace that didn't look possible for someone who carried so much sorrow. Marek swung a fast roundhouse kick, but Ardan lowered his stance and tapped his leg just enough to offset his balance. Marek stumbled. The others' smiles faded slightly. Silvio charged next, faster, angrier. Ardan swayed left, guided Silvio's arm past him, and pressed 2 fingers softly against the man's shoulder, a pressure point that made him freeze in shock. Ronan tried to tackle him, but Ardan pivoted, guiding him into a harmless roll across the mat. Each movement was precise, gentle, but undeniably powerful. The laughter stopped. The gym grew still except for the frustrated breathing. They weren't sparring a janitor, they were sparring a man who moved like smoke and steel. When Taro and Jax attacked together in a coordinated strike, the atmosphere snapped. Ardan ducked, spun between them, touched their wrists, and stepped backward. Both men dropped to their knees with numb hands, unable to keep their grips. The whole encounter lasted less than 90 seconds. Ardan didn't throw a single punch. When it ended, he simply picked up his jacket and returned to his broom. "Fun enough?" he asked quietly, without a hint of pride. The 5 black belts stared at him in stunned silence, their confidence strained and replaced by a strange, unnerving respect. Before they could ask him anything else, the gym doors swung open and a tall man in uniform entered, flanked by 2 officers. His voice echoed sharply, "Ghost." Ardan froze. Only one man had ever used that tone with that name. General Straight walked toward him, sunlight reflecting off his medals. The entire gym stopped breathing. The general looked at him not with anger but with relief. "We've been searching for you for years," he said. "You vanished. No trace. Your unit still speaks your name." The 5 black belt's jaws dropped. Ardan closed his eyes, pain flooding back. He explained quietly that after losing his wife, he left the special operations world behind to give his daughter a safe life. He couldn't risk danger following their family. He didn't want fame, recognition, or reminders, saw just normalcy. The general nodded gently. "Then I'll leave you to your peace, but I had to see you with my own eyes. The Iron Ghost, living like this." There was admiration in his voice, heavy and sincere. After the general left, the gym felt different. The sunlight seemed warmer, the air quieter. Marek approached with hesitation and bowed deeply. "We're sorry," he said. "We didn't know." Ardan simply nodded and returned to his sweeping, the embodiment of humility. He didn't crave their respect. His only mission was being a father. When he picked up Nelly from school that afternoon, she ran into his arms with pure joy. That hug meant more than any medal ever had. In the days that followed, the 5 martial artists began watching him quietly, not with arrogance but with awe. They sometimes asked him questions not about fighting, but about discipline and control. Ardan gave simple answers, grateful that the past had not dragged him back. The gym staff treated him differently too, not out of fear but out of genuine respect for a man who survived more than most could imagine and still chose kindness over strength. If this story touched your heart, if you believe every person hides battles and bravery behind quiet lives, please like, comment, and share this video. And don't forget to subscribe to Kindness Corner. Your support keeps these meaningful stories alive. Special request, comment respect for Ardan if his journey inspired you today. Ardan Vale remained a janitor by choice, not by limitation. In the warm daylight of that gym, he proved something unforgettably, that true strength is silent, humble, and guided by purpose, not pride. And sometimes, the greatest warriors are the ones sweeping floors, raising children, and quietly holding the world together in ways no one ever sees.